Many of you on the call today will be familiar or somewhat familiar with what we will show you today. I'm going to show how each of you can make an additional $5,400 in revenue in 2022 while only spending about 30 minutes per month generating that revenue. So let's head over to fmiAgent.com. Most of you on the call have already registered for the website here. And I'm just going to flip over to that site. If you've not registered, you are welcome to do so as long as you're in our systems. If you have spoken with one of our internal wholesalers, you should already be in our system and eligible to register. But if you've not spoken with one of our internal wholesalers, give us a call anytime. We'll be happy to get you started. So I'm going to log in here. So, challenge. Ask your clients if they'd like a quote on life insurance. You know, life has changed over the past 2 years, and so has life insurance. In the past, writing life insurance was full of paperwork, signatures, and really outdated processes. That has changed dramatically. Also, the way you conduct your business has changed greatly. Many agents would see their clients face-to-face to secure coverages. Now, the vast majority of transactions are conducted over the phone, Zoom, and email. When your client needs new coverage or a coverage change, today they'll likely just email or call you. While you are encountering those clients, whether face-to-face, by phone, or email, take 10 seconds at the conclusion of your transaction and simply ask, would you like a quote for life insurance? If they say yes, head over to fmiAgent.com. So, let's assume your client said yes to hearing a quote. So let's go to Agent Tools. Under Sales and Marketing, we'll click Quotes. Now, let's scroll down to life insurance. While there's several options here you can discuss with your internal wholesaler, let's keep it simple and select the first one, IPLINE. IPLINE is our main multi-carrier straight-through processing system for life insurance sales. Now let's enter some basic information. Let's call the client, how about John Test Delete Me? Our IT folks love it when we put in fake applications, so we'll try to make it apparent so they can delete this when they receive it. And we'll give it a birthday of January of '82, so we have a 40-year-old. We'll do a male. We'll do South Dakota here. And let's say we'd like to quote him term. Now, options that you have available to you, term, which we'll do today, simplified issue term, which essentially requires no exams for the client to complete, guarantee universal life, current assumption universal life, and index universal life. But we'll just stick with term here to keep it simple on the call. Let's select the term length. So you mentioned to the client, they'd like to have some life insurance. So let's quote a 10-year term and how about a 20-year term? And of course, you can work with our internal wholesalers to determine an appropriate amount of coverage for the individual. But if you're just maybe given some quotes, let's do 3 quotes here. Let's do $250,000, $500,000, and $1 million. Now, in this system, you can add riders. We won't do that here today, but here's a list of some of the riders that you can add. Now, if you get down here to underwriting information, a lot of times this is where you might be apprehensive on where to quote. If you know something about your client's health history, you're welcome to give our internal wholesalers a call, and they'll direct you where an appropriate rate class might be. However, you can also use our health profile, and you can answer a series of questions for the computer to determine what an appropriate rate class would be. The one big question you'll want to ask your client is, do they use any nicotine products? That includes chewing tobacco, pipe, cigar, the new vape things. Ask them if they use any nicotine products. And I would suggest that if you don't know anything else about their health, quote them standard. So standard non-tobacco, non-nicotine, or standard tobacco. So in this case, we'll do a standard non-tobacco. Here's some ratings and flat extras that we could go over with you more in detail one-on-one, but we'll just do a regular standard non-tobacco quote. Now you can see here, there's two tabs. One's for 10-year, one's for 20-year. You can see on the left-hand side, I have $1 million, face amount $250, and $500,000 on the left. Our rate class is standard. I can change any of these criteria and see the results right over here. So let's say you're speaking with your client. You say, hey, look, we can get you into a term plan here with Protective Life, and we'll look at the Classic Choice term for $252.37 paid in full for the year. And the client immediately says, what's the monthly premium? Well, if you look up here, you can just take a look. Annual, semi-annual, quarterly, monthly. Just a reminder, monthly premium must be paid by bank draft. They don't allow that to be paid directly. And now you can see that Classic Choice term here is $21.46 a month. And here for $250,000. And the client says, wow, that's a really good rate. And you say, well, we also have a 20-year, so we can lock in the rate for 20 years. And you can see Protective up here at the top again at $31.05, 20 years guarantee level term. And the client says, wow, that's a great rate. What's the cost for $500,000? Well, I could scroll down to the $500,000, or I'll just uncheck mark the $250,000 here, and now it just pulls up my $500,000. So, Mr. Client, the price is $35.69 for a 10-year term, $56 a month for a 20-year term. And the client says, do you have anything longer than 10 years but shorter than 20? Well, sure. Over here on the left-hand side, we see term lengths, and we have all of these term durations available to you, including all the way up to a 40-year guarantee level term. So let's say, yeah, we could do a 15-year term, so let's take a look at that. So I click the button, it recalculates, and I have a new tab up here at the top for a 15-year term. And you can see I have a price here at Protective and Banner, 1 cent apart, 15-year term with Protective, in this case, $43.44. As you're talking with your client says, hey, I think we'll go for that 20-year term for $56 a month. That seems like a good deal. And you say, let's make an application. So we'll click on the Apply button, all right in the same system. You have the opportunity to do the traditional paper forms, but by and large, you'll want to use the drop ticket. The drop ticket is so fast and easy for you, and this is where, again, 30 minutes a month is going to generate you around $5,400 in revenue in 2022. So we're going to go ahead and click Start the Drop Ticket. And you can see here it pulled the information from the quote on over into the application system. So we have client John Test delete me, and we'll put a little note in here so I can look at it later. We'll call it the 2022 revenue generator. And so we have South Dakota here, term life, but it already selected that one that we indicated we would like to apply for. So we're going to go ahead and click select on that. And now I could come back into this system and resume this application if I don't complete it during this session. It'll save right in your dashboard within the fmiAgent.com website. The very first thing that comes up is some knockouts. So don't complete this application if more than one owner is involved. There's going to be a list bill, the applications for an in-force policy change, and some other items here. So you'll look through that. Permitting none of those apply, you'll be able to proceed. There's also some disclosure about the product here, and we'll go ahead and click Next. All right, so now we're at the application. So we have the client's name here, date of birth pulled over from our quote system, and let's put in this client's Social Security number, which is not a real Social Security number. The country of birth. Are they a resident of the U.S.? Yes. Now you'll notice here that the gross annual income and net worth are not highlighted. They're not required. We encourage you to complete all the information in here, but perhaps you don't have time to gather that information. During our telephone interview with the client, our side will ask those questions of your client. So if it's not yellow, it's not required to get started. See that yellow here on the birth state, so we'll have to fill something in there. We'll scroll down here and we'll say, does the proposed insured have a valid driver's license? So we'll say yes. We'll go South Dakota. And we'll give them a fictitious driver's license number there. And then we do have to put in the client's address here, so we'll put in a fictitious address here in Rapid City. And their day phone, 605, and their number here, and best contact me on my day phone. That happens to be a cell phone, so perhaps I want to go ahead and put it here too. So either day phone or cell phone would work. Will the proposed insured be the owner? And the really neat thing about this process is it's reflexive. So if you say yes, the proposed insured is going to be the owner, it automatically fills that information in. If you say no, it's going to bring up information for who is going to be the owner. So we'll just say the proposed insured is going to be the owner. And then here's a good question. Would you like the policy electronically delivered? Hey, the fact is that's how business is being done today. Yeah, let's have it electronically delivered. And we'll give this to a Gmail address here. And we hit next. And if you look here on the left-hand side, here's the steps that we need to go through. And it's really, really simple to go through this. So our primary beneficiary. We need to have a beneficiary for life insurance, certainly. So let's say it is a person, and it's the spouse of the individual. And let's call this Jane Temp. Delete me, and we'll say 100%. 100% beneficiary is the spouse. We'll hit save. You can see the screen refresh, and you have the spouse in there for the beneficiary. Would you like to designate a contingent beneficiary? Hey, folks, I highly encourage you to always designate a contingent beneficiary. In the interest of time, we're not going to for this call. So we hit next. And you can see here, protective classic choice term, we quoted non-tobacco and $500,000. And then here's the riders that you could have done in there. The client wanted to do monthly premiums, so we'll go ahead and click next. Then we get questions about replacement. Does the proposed insured have any life insurance in force? Yeah, sure. Will this replace existing coverage? No. In the interest of time, just showing you here, it's going to ask you about their other in-force insurance. But we'll just say no to speed through this. Do you have an application pending with another company? Are they applying to another company concurrently? You'll indicate that here. Have they ever been declined previously? Is this sale contemplated based upon selling the policy to a third party? We'll say no. And will the premium be loaned or otherwise financed? We'll say no. So we hit next. Conditional coverage. If you indicate yes here during the telephone interview, we'll go over the prepayment information that would provide some conditional coverage. In this case, we'll just go ahead and say no. We don't collect money with the application just for this call anyway. Next, if you have any attachments that you'd like the underwriter to see, you can upload attachments here. Maybe it's a quotation that you did. Maybe it's some additional details about the financial arrangement of the insurance. You don't have to add an attachment, but this is a place that you can attach important documents should you feel necessary. Next, we get to the agent information. You see it pre-filled in the information of my name, but we're just going to go ahead and put Dave Temp in here and delete me. And we'll put in another fictitious social here. And notice here it's asking for your protective agent number. You can give a call to our office. We'll share that with you right away. However, as you can see, it's not highlighted, so it's not required. Put in your phone number here. And they're asking for your address. Again, not yellow, not required. Certainly encourage you to go ahead and complete those fields, however. And we'll put in this agent's email address. And then it says, hey, who are you associated with? Well, you're associated with a BGA, and we'll call that Financial Markets, Inc. Any special remarks here that you want to tell the interviewer, the underwriter, or otherwise? In this case, I'm just going to say this is an application completed for a training purpose. Please delete it. And then perhaps you have another agent in your office that you're working with. You can add them here. So you can have split agents on a case. We'll say no in this case. We hit next. It says, hey, all these green check boxes. If there was a red check box, I'd want to go back to the screen and see what was perhaps missing. But I got all the green light to go. So, folks, look, in less than like 10 or 15 minutes, we just completed an application for life insurance. So I'm going to click lock the application, hit next. It's going to ask me a couple of other things here. An agent attestation. Basically, did you collect the information? Is it honest? And so forth. And you're welcome to read this, and I encourage you to do so. And we'll have to click agree to proceed. So we click that. Now the next section. Hey, it asks, hey, I'd like to email the proposed insured containing a brochure that describes the next steps. And we can even take a look at what the brochure looks like. It gives us that little opportunity. And here's the Tele-Life applicant's checklist. And it tells them, hey, you're going to have a telephone interview. Here's the information that you should have available with you during the call. And it also gives them the phone numbers that they could call and initiate that themselves. So I'm going to say, yeah, I want that email sent to the client. It confirms here the email that we put in for the client originally. Now, for your purpose, for my purpose, as putting in our agency management system, here's a summary report. So I can click on the summary report, and I see everything that I completed on that quick drop ticket application here that I can maybe save to my records for future use. So then here it says, hey, time to submit the app. We click submit. Gives a little tracking number there at the bottom. You're done. You just submitted a life insurance application, again, under 15 minutes. Now, what does it look like to your client? Well, let's take a look at a couple of emails here. So here's the email that the producer received. Hello, Dave. This email is being sent to you to let you know that, hey, the application has been submitted. You don't need to do anything at this time. On the left-hand side here, you see that the client received 2 notifications. One, hey, we got your application. Here's some information, and we're going to be giving you a call, or you can call us. And then right here, it says, hey, thanks for choosing Protective. You can see copies of the documents that we just submitted on your behalf. When they click that, they punch in the last 4 of their social. This is just for your client's information, really. And they can print that checklist that we looked at momentarily ago about the Tele-Life, or they can close the window. So that's as easy as it can be to submit a life insurance application. Now, at this point, again, the insurance company is going to contact the client, go over all those painful medical questions and financial questions, and collect any of that information to begin the underwriting process. So, certainly you might run into larger cases where you may want to visit with your internal wholesaler here to explore some options, but for your simple term sales, man, you can complete an application in far less than 30 minutes. There are certain situations where we may need to involve you in the underwriting process, such as if medical records are necessary and the clinic requires a special authorization. We may need to reach out to you to secure the signatures on a document like that. Or if the client is unwilling or unable to answer some of the questions on the telephone interview, we may need to reach out to you for further details or clarifications. But really, we hope you find the process we just went over very simple and something you can do to incorporate in your daily routine, really without taking away time from your primary activity. As was mentioned in the agenda, how can you increase revenue in 2022? Start asking your clients if they'd like a quote for life insurance. If you do start incorporating that in your practice, you would at least write 1 case per month. Let's say the average case is $50 a month with an estimated 75% commission rate of the first year premium. And please know the commission rates vary by carrier and product. So what would that earn you in 2022? So $50 per month average premium over 12 months is $600. Then At 75% estimated commission rate, that one case would generate you $450 over 1 year. Multiply that times 12 cases, one case per month, and you would have generated $5,400 more in revenue that you would have not if you didn't ask. So I challenge you, ask your clients, hey, would you like a life insurance quote? Good opportunity.